Hello, friends, and welcome. Happy Saturday to the show, Your Real Estate Today. We're excited for you to be with us today and excited for you to be spending your Saturday with us. I'm Paul Jamison, your host, owner of the Jamison family of companies. That's Realty, Property Management, and Property Investment. And we're excited to be in this market at this time. A lot to talk about today. Also joining me in this first segment is Sandy Dickinson with Cross Country Mortgage. Hello, Sandy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. And then coming up in the show, yes, it is the first week of the month. It is time for Marty and Sam Ivey. And you know, one of the things that I always look forward to with Marty and Sam is I never know exactly how it's going to come out. So, you know, it's kind of like a colonoscopy. And so we're just going to figure it out and we're going to go from there and we're going to have a great time. It's always a ball of laughs. And if you want to watch all of the gestures and a little bit of the show after the show or between segments, you can hit us up on the YouTube channel of Jamison Realty. And you can see us making ridiculous gestures at each other and TJ yelling at me because I didn't stop talking. So what did I learn this week? Well, 15%, Sandy, of the homes that were bought in the second quarter of this year were bought by who, do you think?
Investors.
That would be correct. They say that investors only buy cheap homes. Not so. They know their numbers and they see the upside like I do in both rents and values. Now, there was a major announcement that an investor that starts with a Z is no longer going to be buying homes in this market. Now, this investor values their homes and puts values of homes, yours, mine, everyone's, in an algorithm, which is not an appraisal. It is a mathematical equation / formula / guess of what your home is worth. They have announced that they are no longer going to be buying and flipping homes. And they're going to lay off 25% of their workforce. And the name of that company would be Zillow. The announcement came after their third quarter earnings report severely missed analyst estimates. According to their CEO, Rich Barton, he says, we've determined that the unpredictability in forecasting home prices far exceeds what we anticipated. He also said continuing to scale Zillow offers would result in too much earnings and balance sheet volatility. So, what does that actually mean? Well, most people are going who tend to be glass half empty versus glass half full, or what I consider to be not in touch with the market, are saying, oh no, it's a sign the sky is falling. The sky is falling. The homes are going to fall apart. It's going to be terrible. Ah! Well, no. If you read further, not only is their Zestimate terrible, then they're not be able to predict actual home values that they have been touting and that they got it wrong. There's also another issue that they didn't calculate into their formula as they're flipping homes. One is getting the renovations done. They can't get them done in a timely, costly manner because of labor shortages, material shortages, issues with execution. It isn't working at the budget they want to do it at. Second, what I have been saying for years now, friends, is that this algorithm has never walked into your home. It does not know your neighborhood. It does not know anything about the home that it's evaluating other than some data points. It has no local knowledge. You can't beat local expertise when it comes to evaluating a home. Every real estate agent will tell you they're not a real estate appraiser, but we have a level of expertise that an appraiser doesn't have, as they have one we don't have. And we have something that Zestimates don't have, and that's knowing the market. If you work with an agent who has been around and is a true expert, they will help you determine the proper pricing for your home, value for your home, and they have relationships that matter when it comes to getting your home fixed, updated, repaired, or ready for sale. So, Zillow, thank you for your efforts. Bye. So, Sandy.
Yes.
What say you after my litany?
Well, what I say is that the Fed looks like they are going to start tapering very soon, like maybe next month.
Is
So
tapering like dancing, but different?
It's like not putting money into the market.
Well,
So.
like I said, is tapering like dancing, but different?
Yes. So rates will be on the rise. However, let's face it, 4%, it's still a good rate. I mean, we've seen as high as in the 20s, like double digits. We've seen some nice low ones. This is still on the low side. So thank you to Zillow. They will be infusing about 7,000 houses into the market that they are going to need to unload.
That's awesome.
That's going to help us. That'll help our inventory issue. And don't worry that the housing market is not strong, because it's super strong due to the demand. So don't worry about that bubble or the fact that you might be buying at the highest time of the market. It looks like, based on information that I have, that they will still be appreciating. So all that's good. And now that we're going to have some houses on the market, everybody should go buy one.
Yeah, and they should call you. So
that's right.
A couple of things to back up that, Sandy, which is great information, is they're expecting home prices to still go up by about 16% next year.
Oh, that's
what
nice.
they're saying. The second thing is the current deficit nationally for homes is 5.5 to 6.5 million homes short of demand. So 7,500 is going to be like trimming your fingernail. I mean, is it great? Do we love having 7,000 homes come on the market? Sure. But it isn't going to move the needle.
It's a drop in the bucket, but every little bit helps.
That's right. So if people are interested in doing a refinance, a purchase, or looking and having you evaluate their mortgage to see if it's the right time at Cross Country Mortgage, how do they get you?
Yeah, so we still have a lot of people taking cash out for debt consolidation. You can call me at 704-577-0144. 704-577-0144, Sandy Dickinson, Cross Country Mortgage. If you're ready, she would love to help you, and she helps all of our clients, does a great job. As a matter of fact, Sandy, before you go, I have someone that you need to call. Happened this morning. So always excited about ending a segment with some business for you. Keeps things moving, keeps the economy going. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got Marty and Sam Ivey coming up, and we're going to be talking about 10 red flags about a home purchase and some things in renovation that you should not do. 10 mistakes in renovating. But Marty's got a lot. I've got a lot. It's going to be a big show. So stay with us to show you real estate today here on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome on a Saturday afternoon. This is the show, Your Real Estate Today. It's Paul Jamison, your host. How y'all doing out there today? We're going to be talking some real estate today, and we're going to be talking about your home today. We're going to talk about, with Marty and Sam Ivey, box elder bugs, ants, strange odors in your home, and mice. So we got a lot to cover today, but I wanted to spend this time talking with you about kind of what's going on in our market today. And before we launch in, Marty, with box elder bugs, I think people should know we're still, with all the crazy and all the different things, we're in a great position. If you're a seller right now, and even if you're a buyer, we can get you a home. You got to know how to win, and expertise is a big part of that. You know, experience you can get from a book or a hike. Expertise you get from doing this over and over and over again and bringing a lot to the table. So I just want to be clear, in Marty's business, Sandy's business, my business, we focus on bringing value through that expertise. And, you know, just like when I call Marty and Sam and I go, hey, there's these things flying around. I don't know what the heck they are. And Sam calls me back and Marty calls me back and they go, here's what they are. Here's probably where they're coming from. We'll be out tomorrow. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like it. So expertise ain't experience. It's very different. So think about that when you choose a partner for your home. I think it's important. So, all right, Marty, box elder bugs, eh?
Yeah, this time of year, what we refer to as a fall invader. This time of year as weather cools, insects chase temperatures. Every insect, everything in life follows a predictable path of energy, and insects are one of the best examples. We see it a lot. This time of year, it's cool. I love cool weather. I'm a cool weather guy. This is my favorite time of year. So when the temperature cools,
I thought termite season was your favorite time of year.
Well, that's my favorite financial time of year.
Oh, okay. I was just checking because I remember, I don't know how many shows, TJ. This is my favorite time of year.
Termite season is when I've come through the winter of my life, which is winter time when activity slows and things get the financial burden. But the interesting thing about this time of year, people want to leave their windows and doors open. And if your screens aren't tight fitting, these insects are going to come into your home. You know, the old saying is a 40-pound raccoon goes through a 4-inch square hole. A mouse can go through the hole the size of a shirt button. A wasp or a yellow jacket or bee and box elder bugs, roaches, just a multitude of them will migrate inward. This time of year, we get a lot of calls about box elder bugs, and it's a bug that typically will always pertain to box elder trees. And now they are getting into maples and junipers and just a multitude of plant growth around the outside. And they'll migrate to the sunny side of the house, especially if you've got a light or a bright colored home. They'll migrate to the sunny side, and as that sun moves on the side of the house during the day, these insects will follow them, and they will actually follow in the masses, thousands of them. I was out at the house yesterday, had thousands of them on the side of the house. Really? And she had a front window open, and I was like, when that sun sets in the afternoon, they're coming in that front window. They're going to come through that window. It's going to happen. The screen was not tight fitted, and they were going to come through. It's just something that you're going to see. So you have to be mindful of that this time of year, that especially at night when that sun goes out, that heat inside that house is going to chase that cold outside, and they will follow it right through that area. So if you've got a window open with no screen, it's an open invitation, not just for a multitude of stuff to come in, but also for anything as bizarre as wildlife. We've seen wildlife come in homes this time of year. So it's something that you need to be very mindful of and keep your eye on. Box elders bugs is something that we can easily control. But the problem is they're going to be reoccurring until you can find the plant growth they're coming from. And if you do find the plant growth, the only way you're going to stop them is cut it down. And it used to be the box elder trees were very problematic. But since in the last 10 years, these box elder bugs have migrated to other plant growth and survive off of them. But roaches are a huge thing this time of year. They're migrating inward from the outside, especially these great big outdoor roaches, the American roach and
How long
smoky
do
brown.
those suckers live, Marty?
What, the box elder bugs?
Them and the roaches.
If it gets cold enough outside, it will deter them or kill them. But if they get inside your house, they can overwinter inside your house. The roaches are something that very problematic. They're constantly cycling and reproduce. A female roach doesn't have to mate but one time, and she can store that and just refertilize herself and never has to mate again. And then she doesn't really need a food source. She can just eat her offspring. Their roaches are cannibalistic. They'll eat each other. So it's very interesting to see it. I mean, hey, nature at its best.
So the roach can mate with itself.
No, mate with a male, store it
one time. After the one time,
store it up.
One night stand. Have a one night stand. Yeah,
2 shifts meeting in the night.
Do cross country. Do they have to dance first, like they do?
No,
kind of
they don't
Western
have to
dancing, down like it.
It's not like the praying mantis where it kills its mate. The female kills its mate, eats its head off after she mates with it. It's nothing like that.
So they do this. They do the mating
They do
thing,
the dance.
and then she continues to have
Can re-fertilize herself,
and then eats her young, and like could go on an island and just like, hey, I don't need anything.
Yeah,
I can just have babies and eat them and
they
just keep going.
Robinson Crusoe.
God, man. I don't think you've ever told that before, because now I'm like totally freaked.
Oh yeah, listen, the insect world is a fascinating world. The insect and rodent world is a fascinating world.
But Marty, there's no insect that has a one night stand and then for the rest of its days it has its own babies and then it eats them.
Can do that. I mean, naturally, that's not its first food source. The interesting thing about roaches, this is really the interesting thing about roaches, is you can treat roaches, and let's say you had 10 roaches and you killed 8 of them through the treatment. Well, the 2 that survived, they processed the insecticide through them. And when they process that insecticide through them, they basically filtered it. It shows up in their fecal material. Well, the baby roaches will eat the fecal material and automatically build a resistance to the insecticide.
What?
Yes, that's why roaches are capable.
Why didn't we just do that with COVID? Eat our own junk and not have to worry about COVID. I mean, come on, man.
Well, I tell you what,
Dr. Fauci, are you on the line, Dr. Fauci?
I got a great idea. Dr. Fauci can be the guinea pig, and he can try us and tell it how it's worked.
He dishes out enough of it.
And you know what?
We're the ones eating it.
You know what they'll say to him? Well, your voice has changed, but your breath still smells the same.
Oh, man. Thank goodness there's only 45 seconds left in the segment.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. TJ, I don't know whether we're crossed the line here or not, man. Oh, my gosh. I don't know what to do with these guys. I see what I said. See what I said? We have gone from talking about box elder bugs
to fecal
Dr.
material.
Fauci.
But
that's a great real estate topic, I'm thinking.
It is very interesting to see the roach world and how that was a big problem in our industry for years, but very interesting.
You mean Dr. Fauci was?
Yeah.
He's a problem for every industry. Well, we'll be right back to show you real estate today. I don't know what's next, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk about some stuff. Stay with us. We'll be right back. News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Welcome back. Let's show you real estate today. Paul Jamison here from the Jamison Real Estate Companies. That's Realty, Property Management, and Property Investments. We are here to talk to you about your home and about what's going on around your home. And in the last segment, we were talking about roaches. And during the break, I said to Marty, and I'm like, so if the roaches are eating their own stuff and it's developing a resistance, then how the heck do you kill the daggum things? And Marty, what did you say?
Well, we talked about how the problem that you get into is because that roach is able to filter the insecticide that runs through its system. And in most cases, if you treat 10 roaches, you're going to have one or two that could survive, and that insecticide will be filtered through its fecal. And when the baby roaches eat their fecal material, what happens is the baby roaches are automatically develop a resistance. The amazing thing is it was such a problem in the industry. A tremendous amount of money went through the industry and developed synergens, which are basically enzyme blockers that they put in insecticides to block these enzymes in the roach's system that gobble up toxins. We have the same enzymes in our system that gobble the toxins up and pull them out, but the roaches had gazillions of them in them. And they developed these blockers that are specifically designed for the insect that block these enzymes that pull these toxins out. And it's made it very, very effective for German roaches, especially German roach was a big problem in our industry.
Oh, huge.
Now German roaches is one of the easiest controlled insects if you provide a reasonable level of sanitation. The amazing thing is now they've got baits designed and insecticidal baits that the roaches feed on, and there's enough insecticide left into the bait that will actually eliminate the baby roaches when they eat the fecal. It's, our world, the United States is an amazing place about when they have things that come to our task that we are able to develop and overcome. That's one of the advantages about living here in the United States is, we're enterprising people, and we figure out stuff, how to do things. And that's one of the amazing things that I've always appreciated about our industry is we're always able to figure things out and control things. Some of us are better at it than others. I mean, that's been our game to fame here at Ivey Exterminating is we develop solutions for problems that other people can't figure out. We do it every day. And, microbial cleaning is another thing. Microbial cleaning in crawl spaces is a very difficult task, but it took us years to figure it out, and we figured it out. I mean, we clean microbial in crawl spaces. We're getting crawl spaces now that the timbers look brand new. I mean, when we're done with them, it's amazing how the timbers look, and there's tricks to it. And it took us a while to figure it out, but we figured it out. We've got it perfected here in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and it's the real deal.
It's the real deal.
Yeah, because you talk about the microbial growth in and under the crawl space. One of the topics you had written to talk about today was, the smells that are now coming from your crawl space as we have this weather change. But back up into that, Marty, and at least talk about the fact that there's a bigger root to this problem, and the moisture in the crawl space. And
moisture in the crawl space is the root. And we get a lot of calls this time of year talking about odors inside the house, and it's these microbial odors, these odors. And what happens is when you typically smell an odor, that is an enzyme that is trying to break something down, and that enzyme creates that odor. The amazing thing about the odors this time of year is during the summer months when the humidity is high, these things are getting fed in the crawl space, and they're being very fruitful in the crawl space, causing microbial growth, in some cases causing deterioration to your wooden crawl space substructure. But this time of year, what happens is the humidity levels aren't present. So what happens in return is that microbial in the crawl space releases or does what's called referred to as sporing, and it releases itself and migrates up into the house and adheres to things inside the house. So you get more odors on the inside the house this time of year. So very interesting how Mother Nature's work is just designed to take it back.
Yeah. And you better take it seriously too. It's not
Yes.
something you mess around with. You know, I was in
No,
a house the other day, brand new addition. Well, brand new, 2 years.
Yeah.
Addition's 2 years old. Those wood floors were cupped like a washboard.
Yeah. And, you know, we see it every day, but it's, you know, 10 years ago, the microbial wasn't an issue, but, you know, now it affects not only does it affect the value of the real estate, but it affects the process of the real estate transaction. Some industry estimates as high as 70% of the real estate transactions are affected by microbial growth in the crawl space.
That's right. That's right. True statement. Well, one of the things I want to touch base on is some of the red flags in a home purchase. One of the things that I see a lot of, and speaking of odor, Marty, is when you go in and the home smells like a parlor. There's so much perfume, or there's so much Febreze, or there's one of those things you plug into the wall that's got like ode to commode scent in it, you know, or ode to the stockyard, something, whatever. and it's just blowing you away the second you walk into the house. Well, not only am I allergic to those fragrances, the perfumey fragrances, so it closes up my throat, my eyes start watering and all that, but usually it's a sign that they're trying to mask something or the smell of something. And it's one of a multitude of things. It could very well be from the crawl space, could be microbial odor, or the smells coming from the crawl space through the ventilation system. It could very well be the smell from a pet, which is what it is a lot of the time. It could also be from certain spices or smoke. Certain spices, for an example, would be curry, which is a very difficult odor to mask, very similar to masking a smoker's odor, because it gets and seeps into the wall. So it could be a multitude of things. So when you go in, some red flags is if there's a big odor that's supposed to be pleasant, a lot of times they're masking one that's not. One of the biggest tricks in the book is if the house has a basement, cranking up that AC till you feel like you can hang meat down there. And a lot of times they do that in order to get rid of that moldy smell that's in the basement. So if you go down to the basement and it's 40 degrees outside and minus 10 in the basement, more than likely it smells like mold down there. But if you got some steaks with you for your lunch, you can leave them down there and pick them up later and they'll still be okay. All right, next, poor tiling. You know, I go into a lot of bathrooms and very quickly you can tell who's an expert person at laying tile and who's not. If it's a DIY job, a lot of times they're very good, and a lot of people have a lot of talent because they've gone to the Home Depot seminar to learn how to lay tile like an expert, but they're not an expert. They just had an experience like I talked about earlier. So you can start to see signs of DIY that present themselves in tiling: gaps, uneven areas, loose tile, cracks. Be aware and pay attention to those things, especially if the house is being flipped. Hairline cracks in the foundation, something to pay attention to. Now, there's a fooler with that. Sometimes on the outside perimeter where they've got the concrete block, there's a skim coat that they put around there that they paint. If that cracks, that doesn't mean it's potentially a problem unless you can see daylight through it, because that a lot of times is just a plaster, or not a plaster, but like a fascia, like a skim coat of concrete or something else that's been painted. So know the warning signs, know to look, but look out for cracking, especially around windows and doors. You may see some cracking as well. So more of these type of things and more with Marty, because one of the things we haven't talked to you about yet is mice, and we're going to do that after the break on the show, Your Real Estate Today, here on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for spending your Saturday with us. I'm Paul Jamison. You've just tuned into the show, Your Real Estate Today, or you're hanging with us on the show, Your Real Estate Today. And I appreciate that for you spending Saturday with us. Thank you. If you're interested in a copy of my book, it's called Opportunity is Knocking. I'll only say it once. I'm not like Mark Levin. I don't say it 50 times. If you're interested in investing in real estate and you want to learn more, Opportunity is Knocking. You can find it at pauljamison.com. That's Jamison with an I, or you can get it on Amazon, Amazon Prime. It is available to you. It's $25, and it is a great way to learn about investing. Before the break, I was telling you about a handful of things to look out for before you purchase that you can look at on your own. We talked about, too much odors or scents, perfumes, the tile job, foundation cracks, signs of deferred maintenance is the next one. Look around. If there's neglect in one place, there's probably neglect in another. So make sure if you see signs of neglect that you pay attention a little more readily to what's going on in the rest of the house. All right. Wonky windows. Let's say that 10 times fast. So if the windows are a little bit out of kilter, if the home was built in 1910, the windows are going to be wonky, right? And not a whole lot you're going to do about that. But if the home is 10 years old or newer, or 15 years old or newer, and you're not seeing signs of settlement, and you got windows that, are tilted or crooked or don't close, make sure you investigate those. Microbial growth, signs of it. Now, to Marty's point earlier, this is where you bring in expertise. All right. There's the kind of growth you may see in the shower. That's called mildew. That's what's on the door. It's okay. Okay. But you got to know the differences and the different types, and you got to know when there's an issue and when there's not. But if you see it, say it. Do I sound like the what's that dog, Mr. McGruff or whatever, those like the safety dog? If you see the microbial, say it. Okay. Water damage. Yes, water damage is real. If you see water damage, a water line in the basement crawl space, say something. If you see it in a bathroom, if you see it in the ceiling, say something. A lot of times I'll walk through a house and I'll see a brown spot that has appeared from what appears to be water damage. Now, there's a couple of reasons. Could be a water pipe. Yes. Most of the time, what it is either a faulty wax seal on a toilet, or your kid's got a little rambunctious in the tub, or the tub overflowed, and you're seeing some of the repercussions of that. Ask the question. Doesn't mean you walk away. Just ask. I see it all the time. And I go, oh, they probably had a leak in their toilet. Oh, look, you can see kind of the drywall repair right there. Oh, there's a toilet up there. Okay, I get it. And you move on, right? Cosmetic enhancements. When there are cosmetic enhancements, just look around, pick up the rug, for example, on the hardwood floors. I learned this mistake one time. People will hide spots on the floor, burns on the floor, plants that have been overwatered that have ruined the hardwood floor, issues with the floor, dog scratches on the floor, pee-pee stains from your pet on the floor. That FCC won't get me for that, will it?
No, you're
okay. Good. Just checking. I think TJ's the FCC police for me here. and they'll put a rug over it or a plant over it. And then when they empty out the house, there you go. Remove and look under the rug for signs of damage, especially in the hardwood floors. Okay. Next, Marty mentioned it before, improper ventilation. If you got improper ventilation, it's a breeding ground for microbial growth. All right. So make sure you have somebody take a look at those colors or at those, at that ventilation. Last, before we move on to mice, would you all like to know from me, Mr. Trendy, what the colors will be for 2022? They are now in. Oh, TJ, it's okay. I'll tell you. He's so excited. He put his phone down. He wants to know. So guess what? I'm going to tell you. So what do you think the color family is, Sam? I see you right there on the screen. What do you think the color of 2022 is? And there's going to be multi hues of that, but what do you think the color is?
Purple.
Purple? The answer is no.
Thank
It's not purple. Marty, care to guess?
White.
White. No, it's not that either. TJ, you're the last known guy to make a guess. What will the color of 2022 be? The color family.
I'm gonna go with the blue family.
You're closer than they are. It's green. Okay. So get the name of these greens. Are you ready? Here we go. We got October Mist by Benjamin Moore, Evergreen Fog by Sherwin-Williams, Breezeway by Bear, Cypress Garden by Dutch Boy, and my favorite, Guacamole by Glidden. So those are the colors for 2022. Woot, woot. All right, let's talk about mice.
Bring it. Yeah, I thought you were talking about gaps and cracks in the foundation earlier as kind of red flags. Those are definitely entry points for mice to get into your crawl space. Most people don't think, most people associate rodent problems with sanitation issues and disease pathogens that they can carry. And those are definitely problems to consider, but more importantly, you need to consider the impact and the damage that it can create to your crawl space. Yeah. Mice will nibble on wires, nibble and pull on insulation in the crawl space to make nests. Mice typically aren't going to create as big of headaches, but rats are the ones that create massive headaches in the crawl space. We've had customers that they've dealt with other companies and they couldn't get rid of the rats. And when we got out there to deal with the rats, they had caused about $20,000 worth of damage in the crawl space to the HVAC system.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, had ripped holes in the lines. The smells of the rats dying in the crawl space were coming up into the house. The entire insulation had to be pulled and replaced. New encapsulation liner. I mean, just one problem after the other. So be proactive, seal those gaps and cracks around your house. You know, Marty was mentioning earlier, a mouse can fit through an opening the size of a shirt button, and a rat can go through an opening the size of a quarter. So check your foundation vents. If the screens are missing or a corner of it's been peeled back or pushed, or looks like something has pried its way in there, it's a simple fix. Go ahead and get that fixed and save yourself a massive headache down the road. But it's important, like you were talking about, experience versus expertise earlier. Taking care of these rodent problems is pretty simple when you're an expert. But if you're somebody who hasn't had a lot of experience in it, then you're going to make some mistakes. And we had one customer who was dealing with a competitor in town, and they said that they were having a rodent problem in a sunroom, that they had just got done putting an expensive ceiling up in that sunroom. And right off the bat, we knew that it wasn't a rodent problem, that it was a roach problem. But the homeowner kept seeing all this fecal droppings everywhere, and the technician from the other company kept telling him that it was a really bad rodent problem. Well, this homeowner unfortunately had to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on multiple trips out there to try to get this problem resolved. And then the company eventually told me I had to take the ceiling down, and it was really a roach problem. And we came back out, fixed it in 2 trips, and it was done with. So expertise really is important.
Yes, it is. And if people want to talk to you and have them come out, you come out, how do they get you?
Give us a call, 704-334-1616 or bugivy.com.
Where's the woo?
Whoop, whoop.
Gonna get me some.
Bugs. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. All right. If you need us, it's 846-DONE, 846-3663, or on the web at myjamisonhomes.com. I'm Paul Jamison. Thanks for spending Saturday afternoon with us, the Ivy team, and the show, Your Real Estate Today. Take care. God bless. Talk to you next week.